All right, so in electricity, we use symbols, letters, diagrams, colors, all sorts of ways to communicate. And it's pretty much like learning a new language. So today is your first language lesson, but I really want you to kind of ignore the words. I don't really care if you don't know what these letters and numbers mean. What I'd like you to do is kind of zoom out, if you will, and look at the whole picture. Um, this would be called an incomplete circuit. A circuit, electrical circuit, being a path for the electrons to flow on their way to do work. And if you study this diagram carefully, even if you don't know anything about electricity, you should be able to see that there's no complete path. In other words, from my pressure source or my voltage source, if I follow through and around in either direction, um, it appears to be broken right here. In fact, I could put a switch in there if I wanted and make a switch control the circuit, but I'm going to go ahead and just put a wire connector back in there. So now we have, in fact, a complete circuit. Um, Now, here we have a complete circuit with different symbols. Again, I don't care about the symbols and letters and numbers. I want you to focus just on the circuit. You can see that we have a complete path. Okay, and I want you to look at it and notice there is only one path through this device, whatever it is, through this component, whatever it is, and back around to here. There's only one road. If you want to look at it as a road map, there's only one lane on this road. Um, so think about that. What kind of a connection would that be? And that would be a series connection. And these components are connected in series, end to end, if you will. Now let's look here on the next diagram. We have, again, a complete path. I'll color this one in blue. There's a path. There appears to be another path. And from your first lesson, you should remember that, if there's more than one path, what kind of a circuit would that be? I got a blue path, I got a red path, that's more than one, and that is in fact a parallel circuit, a parallel connected circuit. Okay, can you tell whether this is series or parallel? Study it for a moment and decide. How many paths do you see? If you see two paths and you called it a parallel circuit, you're absolutely right. Here's a path here. We'll color that in green. I couldn't find my kids' crayons, and so I'm using Sharpies today. And then I'll go ahead and color the second path here in black. Okay. Now, when you color in your circuits, you can use Sharpies, you can use crayons, highlighters, whatever you want. Okay, so let's study this next one. This one looks a little different. Well, I'd like to ask you, do you think it is series or parallel? Or perhaps both? Well, let's take a look. Let's use red here. I'll start at the voltage source, go through each component, and in fact there's only one path through that circuit, so it must be series. Kind of tricky looking because you might say, well, these two components are parallel in arrangement to each other, and they are, but the electrical connection is in series. There's only one path through those components. So diagrams can look kind of scary. They certainly look like they're very intimidating when you first look at them, but you'll get used to these the more you see. You'll become more fluent in reading symbols. Take a look at this circuit. Is it series or parallel? Let's see, we'll make a blue path. And let's do orange. Looks like I got another path I could take. So there's two paths, or there could have been another component up here that could have been a third path. So this must be in fact parallel. Parallel circuit. Okay, now let's take a look at this. This particular one's interesting. It has up to this point only one path and then two paths. And this is in fact called a series parallel circuit because these two components are in series with this component, and these two components here are in parallel with each other. Okay, if this is confusing you at this point and I've lost you, don't stress too much about it. You'll pick this up as you practice it more. But we definitely have parallel component. I'll circle the parallel components in orange, and I'll circle the series components in blue. So that's this component is connected in series with this. In other words, there's one path from this part of the circuit to that part of the circuit.